My dog, dog, my dog. I'm gonna hit it big one day. Straight cash.
Isn't that a pickle?
Not risky enough for me.
Not for me, man.
Yeah, you're back. And I'm like, where the f were you guys when everybody was talking shit?
Now audio's recorded. My bad.
Now I can say Doge with the Doge.
It's Doge with the Doge. What is he eating?
I don't know.
Did you give him a treat?
No, I didn't. Did you see that viral video of the kid that's like, my dog, my dog, my dog.
No.
I gotta show it to you after. That's my dog.
Well, thanks for coming by, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
You know
what this is? This is an intervention.
Oh, part 2.
The internet's like, so you're gonna convince him to sell everything this time, right? And I'm like,
bro, it's so funny. People that have kept up with the story, they just like, I remember this exact scenario playing out 2 years ago or something.
So you went from 0 to a millionaire, back down, not quite to 0, but let's say 0, back up to a millionaire.
Yeah.
And here we are again.
I went from 0 to $1 million to 3 million, back down to 500,000, 200,000, back up to 500,000 to $1 million.
Wow.
So yeah.
And here we are.
Pretty
How does it feel? Like, are you phased at this point? Like, does it feel like you? I mean, you know what it feels not to have millions like you had anymore. Do you want to sell?
How do I feel about that? It's weird, man. In a way, it's like, I told you so. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna come back up. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of people are like, it's dead in the water. Like, it's dead. Like, it's never
coming back.
And I'm like, I think it will.
What if it goes back down tomorrow? By the time this video's out, it goes back to like 5 cents.
I just feel like a lot of people don't understand cycles, and they don't understand kind of like the nature of or how Dogecoin and Bitcoin correlate so much, where it's like literally, like, people don't realize that Dogecoin is literally Bitcoin with the dog's face on it. And, you know, obviously it's not a set amount like Bitcoin, but a lot of it is very much the same. So it makes sense that if Bitcoin pumps and goes up, like, it kind of brings Dogecoin along with it, you know?
Sure. But is there a point at which you would consider selling? Like, is there a dollar amount? Where are you at right now? Let's talk about that. What's the portfolio at?
Total or just Dogecoin?
Just Dogecoin for now, but we'll talk about total.
800 grand.
800 grand.
So 2 days ago, is when we had a talk on the phone.
Yes.
And I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, Dogecoin hit 20 cents.
That's right.
Now, for those of you sitting at home watching this who don't know, I have 5 million Dogecoins. So that makes it real easy to do the math, right? So if I have 5 million Dogecoins at 20 cents per Doge, I have $1 million. I'm a Dogecoin millionaire. At 50 cents, I have $2.5 million. At $1, I'll have $5 million. So I feel like my magic number is $1, because that's kind of like the mission. It's like Dogecoin to $1, and then the prophecy will be fulfilled, and then I can take my profit.
I just feel like it'd be so difficult to take profits at $1 because everyone will have that same idea. So it's gonna be like that Saturday Night Live skit we talked about.
Maybe I'll sell it at 98 cents.
It would have to be something like that.
95 cents.
If it ever comes to that. But okay, so what is the portfolio value total?
Wow. Okay, total. Actually, I could do it really quickly. I guess I go through all my wallets and we could do some quick maths. Okay. On my main wallet, so I'm not even calculating NFT prices here, by the way.
Which would be like an extra $5.
Who knows?
No, I was just kidding. I don't know, man.
Okay. It's just refreshed. 1,645,000.
That's life-changing money.
Yeah, but I'm not done.
Okay.
That's just my main wallet. Okay, I'll tell you the exact price. It's 1,645,721.
Okay.
And 74 cents. And in Dogecoin, that's roughly $795,000. That's the biggest holdings that I have.
What do you mean not your main wallet? You have like a secret wallet?
No, I have several different wallets.
Okay.
So my Dogecoin is sitting at $795,000. $1,000. My Cardano, which I also have a lot of, and I don't know if you remember, well, we actually talked about Cardano the first time we met.
Yeah. I think you were buying it. I remember you buying Cardano, it. You were like, I'm going to put 300 grand into it. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean,
but you did really well on it.
Man of my word, I bought a ton of Cardano. So my Cardano is sitting at $764,000.
Wow.
I bought the majority of it when it was at 24 cents, and Cardano right now is 75.
So you put $250K in and it tripled.
Yes. I also have Chainlink. I have $36,000 in Chainlink. Polygon, I have $22,000 in Polygon. XRP, $12,000. So all of these make up the $1,600,000.
What would be your rough estimate of like all the wallets that you hold?
I would say roughly an additional 300 grand.
Wow. So almost 2 million.
Almost 2 million. Yeah. And that's not counting the NFTs, because that's extra $5-10.
Yeah.
You gotta add them there.
So what would
my VV portfolio, my OMI? I'm not even counting my OMI, guys.
Can relate. Yeah. Dude. Okay. So $2 million. So you don't think you'll sell anytime soon? Any of that?
No. When it hits $1, also.
But do you want to sell any of the other stuff, like Cardano, for example? Do you think it'll go higher?
You know what? You want to know something crazy about Cardano? I'm staking it. So I'm actually earning money every single epoch with Cardano, because I have $1 million Cardano. I have these weird magic numbers. I'm like, 5 million Dogecoin sounds great, so I get 5 million.
That's
and
fair.
Then it's like, I have 1 million Cardano. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I would love to have 1,000 Solana.
Well, the reason I ask is because I remember there was a phase in our time, in our friendship, when like you were not at the peak.
Oh no, there was some rough waters.
I would just see you on your phone scrolling and refreshing like every 2 seconds.
It's called doom scrolling.
And just being so stressed and like depressed about what you were seeing, so much so that you were even considering like getting a 9-to-5 job and going back to the normal life. And it's just so interesting to me how you can go from that now to being here again and just being like, we're still going to go to the moon. Because like if I had gone through that roller coaster, I'd be like, I never want to feel like that again.
I don't know. We should tell them. All right, let's tell the people this. I don't know if you remember this, Andre, but there was some really dark times. And I remember in these last 2 years, I remember very distinctly calling you when Dogecoin was just dropping and dropping and dropping. And at one point, it dropped to 5 cents, and it was 1 penny away from where I got in.
I remember that.
So I was damn near breaking even point, right? And I called you, and I was like, what should I do? It's scary now, right? Like now it's scary.
Yeah.
Like now I might be underwater.
Right.
And I called you, and I asked your opinion on what you think I should do. And I don't know if you remember what you said, but you told me, you were like, look, man, you've like stood your ground this entire time.
Yeah.
Like you've kept your promise, you kept your word. You said you weren't going to sell a single Doge, and you didn't. You just have to see it all the way through at this point.
Right.
And I'm like, you're right. Like you're absolutely right. But I did have those doubts. I had those shaky moments where I was like, should I just get out of this? Should I just sell?
And you're now worried that we'll get to that point again.
Man, I just have so much faith and so much. Just like with crypto, man, just I really do believe. Like I'm not putting on a show when I say that stuff. Saying that I believe Dogecoin is the future and crypto is the future, and I really feel like this is what's gonna be our new form of banking system, right? Or the way we use our money, and it's gonna be all in our hands, not without confrontation. By the way, the banks aren't going to let that just go that easily. We're going to have a lot of issues, I'm sure, eventually, especially with regulation and all that. But ultimately, this is the future. Right. So that, I guess, that faith and that's what I always remember. That's the one thing that I always keep playing in my mind. Like, all right, things might be a little hard right now. Okay, maybe people don't get it just yet, right? But give it some time. Give it a year. Give it 2. Give it 3. Like. Right. It will get there eventually. Just look at how far we've come, right? Like, look at what Bitcoin was 10 years ago. Like, where like, okay, here's the crazy part. Like, just try to picture this. We are so privileged to be living in a time where a new form of monetary system has been created 10 years ago.
Right.
We're not on this earth 50 years from now. We're here now.
Yeah.
The last time that was available was when precious gemstones, metals, right? You talked about this in the documentary.
I was just watching a video by Dumb Money, and Chris Camillo was talking about his entire Bitcoin thesis right now was that it's just we're seeing a generational shift and a generational wealth transfer.
Yes.
From old people to the younger generation. Yes. And the older people, their store of value was gold.
Yeah.
And for our generation, it's Bitcoin. So as they inherit the wealth, the thinking is they will move those gold bars, sell them and get rid of them and put them into something they believe more in, which is for them Bitcoin, which I thought was interesting. And that was his entire thesis. He's like, that alone is enough to at least match the market cap of gold, which by today's measure is like a 9 to 10x from today. But that's Bitcoin.
Right.
That's not necessarily Dogecoin. But I will agree with the thesis that our propensity to gamble as human beings and like wanting to keep up and feeling like we've been left behind, it makes sense why the smaller market cap cryptos sort of follow Bitcoin, because it's like, oh, I missed that boat, but then there's all these other ones. Right. So I hear you. But on the other side, would you ever consider maybe selling like a couple $100,000 worth to maybe like put a down payment on a house, or like secure the basic necessity of your life? That way, you know, you'll never be on the street, you'll never be homeless, you know what I'm saying? Like the basics, and you'll still have like over $1 million or 1.5 in your portfolio.
I feel like I'm at a point in my life right now where all of those needs are met without having to do that, which is what the end goal always was, right? Like I want to believe in Dogecoin so much. I want to be able to hold this and show people that I really believe this is the future and you should look into crypto. My whole purpose was just to spark an interest in the crypto space. And if you watched my story and all you ever got out of it was, what is this Dogecoin thing? And you didn't even have to buy any, but you just like discovered blockchain technology and you discovered what this is all about, then that's all that mattered.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I feel like, like you said, as long as my needs are met, everything is fine, my family's taken care of, and I don't have to sell the Dogecoin, then everything's okay, you know?
And that's fair. You're saying you're already at that point.
Right. The issue is, to get to that point, I've had to go through a lot.
Right.
Because at one point, Dogecoin was all I had.
Right.
You remember that.
Well, my worry is that you have that now, but what if you don't? And then, you know.
Right. I mean,
that's what I'm afraid of, is like right now we're at the beginning, or I don't know at what point in the bull market we're in, but we're obviously in a bull market. So
very early on.
Maybe very early
I
on.
think very early on.
I hope so. I hope so too.
Very early. We got another 8 to 10 months, I feel like.
I hope so.
And I think next year is actually going to be the biggest part of the bull run.
So if you ever feel like we're at the peak of the bull market, would you consider selling then, or would you go through another cycle?
Well, this is the thing. So if you're asking me if I'd ever hold the whole bag again, no, I would not.
Okay.
I would. Obviously, nobody can predict the top of the bull market. But when we're in the bull market, we're in the bull market. And I feel like we can all, like that, like you told me that. That's something else you told me, advice you gave me that you probably don't remember. But one time, what's that food spot we used to go to all the time, the Mexican food spot?
El Cantina?
No. When I first came to Vegas, you were like, oh, I got to take you here.
I don't remember.
It was
Taco Bell, probably.
No, it wasn't Taco Bell. It's better than Taco Bell.
Which
but
one?
It's only here because I've never seen it before.
Dude, I don't know which one.
It's not. Is it Cabo Cantina? No, it's not Cabo Cantina.
No.
It's the place we went inside, and we always get the quesadillas. And somebody recognized both of us in line that one time. They were like, "Is you Andre?" Oh, it's Andre. And it's like,
dude, I don't even remember.
It's a Doge guy.
I have a horrible memory.
What are some of your favorite Mexican restaurants?
Oh,
it's not a restaurant. It's one of those go-to restaurants, like quick in and out. Like we sit down and we eat.
Yeah. I just remember Taco Bell. What else?
Bro, it's your favorite spot. We've been there like a handful of times.
Tacos El Gordo. That's the one you
No,
like?
Tacos El Gordo.
Cabo.
It's Cabo something.
Dude, I don't remember.
It's
I know it'll come to me after this.
Because you were like, and then you were like, you wanted to take me there, and I was like,
yeah. I believe you. I know it'll come to me.
Okay.
So
it'll come to you. But it's that spot. We were there. We were in line. We got recognized. Another time we got recognized at I think it was the Bellagio or something. We were walking around.
Yeah.
You said you will know when you're at the peak or around the peak when there's such a level of euphoria that you can't escape it.
Yes.
Because you said you felt that early on with Bitcoin.
I did, yeah.
On one of the cycles.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I told myself. I said, if I feel like I have money in it, And if I feel like I need to put even more in and sell everything, that's when I feel like emotionally, when it gets to me, that's probably somewhere near the top.
No,
when I feel fear of missing out and I'm already in it.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that. I was thinking I might even have a whole strategy, to be honest. So what I think will happen is Bitcoin will at least 2x.
Okay.
In my mind.
Okay. So it'll go to like
140,
okay.
Right? Okay. Once it gets there, can it get to 200? Yes. But it's already double what it was before.
Right.
When it gets to that level, start laddering out.
Okay.
Right? So if I had a bunch of Bitcoin, I would be like, okay, every week I sell $10,000 worth or $20,000 worth, right? Because then for me to sell out of everything will take 6 months.
Okay.
Now, what are the odds that Bitcoin is on a bull run for 6 months straight? Up.
Probably
right?
very little.
Very little, but if it is, then you probably caught it at the very peak and then it goes down, right?
Right.
By the time you ladder out. Or plan it for 8 months, or like set an amount of time that you think, okay, it's reached what I feel like is the peak. Even if it's not exactly the peak, I might be a month off. I might be 2-3 months off. I might be 4 months off. Worst case scenario, I'm 6 months off, right? Because it goes to 250,000, whatever the case may be. But then you still have enough to ladder out to the point where, like, on the way back down, it's like, all right, cool.
So you're saying this time you'll dollar cost average out of it once you feel like it's a peak.
Right. So okay, I'll put it this way. Once Dogecoin hits $1, I'll sell.
I feel like whether
I sell it all, I'm not promising nobody anything this time around, okay? Once it hits $1, I could sell the whole bag of $5 million worth of Dogecoin, and that'll be okay with me because I said I would do what I said I would do, and I feel like I've earned my stripes at this point, and nobody can say anything.
So it's more about a principle thing rather than anything else.
Yeah. Ultimately.
Well, it's interesting because I talked to you once and about this, and you said that it would take a lot for me to sell because you'd have to let all the media outlets know that you're selling. Like, you wouldn't just want to sell it. Like, you'd want to make it into a publicity thing.
It's what I said I would do. So it's like, I mean, you guys, because, bro, media is ruthless, okay?
Yeah.
You know how much they talked about me during the bear market when I was down? I've had ultimate articles like, he lost it all. Okay, cool. Well, now I made everything back, so talk about me now. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to give me the bad press, give me the good press.
Right. Well, speaking of good press, you had a movie.
Yes, the documentary.
Yeah.
This is not financial advice, perfectly titled.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And you're in it.
I'm in it. I am in it.
Isn't that crazy?
That was a really cool documentary to be a part of. Yeah.
You had one of the coolest scenes. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You remember?
I feel like it, yeah.
He broke down, if you guys haven't watched the movie, I'll just give you this little nugget Easter egg. I will share this with you guys. But Andrei's part in the movie was when he starts breaking down the different types of monetary systems that we have experienced in the world, right?
Yep.
So he goes and he's making a case, he's making a bull case for crypto in the market where it's headed, but he breaks it down to whereas you go all the way back to precious metals and gems and gold and silver, right?
Yeah.
And then you go from that to cash, right?
Yeah.
And then the cash represents the gold, right?
Yes.
And then from cash you go to credit cards and it digitizes, right?
Yes.
And then from that you go to crypto. So you had a really, really dope.
Thank you. I prepared for it.
Did you? Did you even talk about that?
I did. Yeah, I did some research. I mean, this stuff is always in my head and I'm always thinking about it. And I'm always watching like crazy Michael Saylor videos and he does such a great job of like breaking it down into different ways. But yeah, definitely watch that movie.
It was like when you watch that part with Andrei, it seems like you're watching one of his YouTube videos. You learn so much. You're like, wow, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, man. Well, awesome. I know that a lot of people are rooting for you to succeed, and I think very, very few relatively, like less than 1% are maybe rooting for anyone to really fail.
Bro, you'd be surprised. Like, okay, so I just started posting videos again on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And I know what to expect, right? I'm just posting because I'm excited again about the market, and I want to post now, and so I'm motivated to. But people in the comment section were actually overwhelmingly nice. Like if you go to my last two videos and you go through, everybody's like, "Yeah, you're back," and I'm like, "Where the fuck were you guys when everybody was talking shit about me?"
Isn't it interesting how emotional, like the sentiment of the market of people, is so tied to how well they're doing? And
if they're happy, they talk about.
If their portfolios are up, they're happy, they're cheering for you.
Yeah,
and that's a huge part of I think why in my videos, like I've stopped sharing a lot of my numbers. I still share them, but like the income updates, all that stuff. Like I want to share it, but I also don't want to do it in a time where people are upset or angry.
Right, because if they lost money, they're going to talk.
Yeah, they have
smack.
reason to be angry, and I get it. And it's interesting to see it play out because your channel's a very big barometer of that emotion.
Right, and like you can go there, check it out now, and you can see the comments on that. Like it's overwhelmingly positive. It's like awesome, you're back. You know what I mean? Like the market's back, everybody's happy again. Like whoop de whoop. Like it's dope.
I guess my only thing for you is I know most likely, like if I had to flip a coin, like your thesis on Dogecoin doing better probably will turn out to be true.
Aha.
But I'm also worried that
there's always risk.
It doesn't get to $1 or it gets to 99 cents and then it just drops. I don't know.
I get it.
But it's just like.
But that's why I don't have exactly 5 million. I have 5,300,000.
Okay.
No. I have 5,030,000. So I could probably get like a cent or two.
Okay. Well, then in that case, let me ask it to you a different way. So let's say that all your goals have been met, right?
Right.
And you sell out or you do whatever it is that makes you happy. How would you use that money then? Like, would you diversify your investments at that point? Would you put some in stocks? Would you buy a house? Like, what would you do with that money?
It's so funny because, like, I had so much time to think about this.
You're like, what would I do?
Because for the past 2 years, it's been a bear market. And just like, I'm just reflecting, bro. Like, I'm just looking at the comments. I'm just going back. And I'm like, and there's so many people with different, like, ideas of what I could have done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you should have just invested it here. Then you can live off of the interest and whoop-de-whoop and X. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm thinking about it. And it's like, if there was, honestly, to be completely honest, okay, as far as my Cardano, one of the things that I really like about it, which is part of the reason why I got it, is the fact that you can stake it and you can stake it perfectly securely. So it's called liquid staking, which only Cardano has. I think now it's getting adopted by Ethereum and Solana and stuff. But like liquid staking is the concept of you're staking your Cardano in a pool, but you still own all of it in your wallet. So that pool could go down, something could happen, and you never lose your assets no matter what.
Okay.
And no other, up until this point, no other.
Is it being staked through a cold wallet or? Yeah,
it's staked through a cold wallet, and it's in this pool, and I get rewards.
What's the percentage?
In ADA, 5 or 6%.
5 or 6%. That's really good.
It could be 4%. It's around 5%.
Okay.
And obviously, over the years, it's gonna go down and down from there, but. I've been staking my Cardano for the past 6 months. You know what I mean? And I've been making a bunch of Cardano because of that. So if there was a way to do that with Dogecoin, and it's funny because I just talked to the Ergo guy and he said that they've developed with Rosenbridge, it's going to be possible to do that with Dogecoin. Mm-hmm. I might even do that.
My only fear with that is like, sure, you can get 5%, but what good is 5% when the underlying equity goes down by 90%? Like right now it's great, it's awesome, but then 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like I don't know, maybe it's not around anymore. So
that's true.
I don't know if that answers my question though. Like, how would you still use that money? Like, how? Like,
well, I would try to find. Okay, I'll put it this way. Okay, let's say theoretically, Dogecoin gets to $1 and I cash out completely.
Yeah,
$5 million, right?
Sure,
liquid. I would try to find a way to best invest that where I can generate interest that might be better than that. Here's a really funny thing. Robinhood has interest now?
Yeah.
Okay. And they up it every few months. It went from 3% to 4% to 5%. I think right now it's like 6% or 5.5%.
I mean, you can put it in a bond and still earn 4 or 5%, but that's like.
But from $5 million, what's that? $100,000 a year?
No, from $5 million, 5%, that's like $250,000 a year.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah, but you're gonna use all that money for just earning interest.
Well, with $250,000, I could.
Or would you buy a house first? And
well, yeah. I mean, then I would just have to put a down payment.
Okay.
So like down payment on the house off the $5 million.
It's so interesting how I think if I asked most,
what would you do?
Well, I think if I asked most normal people who don't think about investing as much as maybe in our world, I don't think most people would be like, I'd find a way to make passive income from it. They'd be like, maybe I'd buy a house, pay off some debts,
straight cash.
Yeah.
Just buy a house, $800,000, straight cash.
No,
go to the Lamborghini store, buy a Lamborghini, straight cash.
I feel like a lot of people would say that though. They'd be like, yeah, I'd buy a car, I'd buy a house.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. I might do something fun with it too. I feel like I deserve it. I've waited long enough. But yeah. So is that what you would do? Like if you have $5 million that you cashed out, what would you do with $5 million?
if that wasn't all of my money, and if I still had like the assets that I have now, I have my house paid off.
No, if that was all your money.
If that was all of my money, oh man.
Because that's technically where I'm at. I don't own a house or anything.
I'd probably hire someone to help me as well, like an actual financial planner, believe it or not.
Really?
To help me
You don't think
out.
you can figure it out?
I think I could figure it out, but I think I'd need some guidance too.
Okay.
And I think I'd probably put 1 or 2, maybe $2.5 million, maybe into something safe, pay me 4 or 5%. I'll have to figure out what that is. Okay. That'll be about full, 100 grand or so a year, which I think will set me
guaranteed.
Up. Yeah, I'll probably keep some cash, maybe 500 grand to $1 million in cash. Liquid. Yeah, and then the rest, I'd probably, assuming I didn't own a house, I'd probably buy a modest house and then a car, and then know that. But would you
do a down payment, or would you just buy the house outright?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a great question. Maybe I would just finance it, I guess. Okay. If the payment's low enough, but I also don't know in this market.
Right. This market's crazy.
But I guess,
bro, you got so lucky.
I did, but I feel like
this guy.
For me, I want to know that my base level is covered forever.
Yeah,
and that's like a paid off house, a paid off car.
Right.
Like worst case scenario, everything goes to zero. I can't be out in the street. I still have like something.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? And I'll never feel like I have to go back to.
So that's why you would keep like the $500K in cash.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think it's always good to like weather out the storms, and like if the stock market tanks or if some market goes down, you still have cash to pull from.
Invest, right.
Well, no, not to invest, but to pull from and to wait out the bad times.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, rather than selling investments.
Right.
But I think it's such a complicated question when we're talking about $5 million. It just depends on like what your needs are.
Right.
But yeah.
I get that.
I don't think I'd put all 5 million though into like a 5% thing. I think it's too much.
That is a lot. I mean, and anything can happen. Like Robinhood has an interesting way of doing their interest because they're pulling from they're pulling FDIC from different banks. So they'll be like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, and they have all that, like 20 banks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can invest up to, I think, 1.5 million or 2.5 million without risk of anything because it's 250,000 FDIC insurance from each one of those banks put together.
Right.
Which is like, I don't know if I believe that. But
I know. I saw that too.
That's a hard thing to do.
I saw that too. And I'm like, I've never seen anyone else do that. And I don't know if I'd risk it.
How are you allowed to do that?
To be fair, though, I also have like $1 million Robinhood portfolio, and people are like, "Oh, Andrei, you should." I know I should diversify. I should cut it under the SIPC limit, which is 500,000.
What do you have all that money in?
What do you mean?
You have $1 million in Robinhood.
Yeah, just stocks.
Oh, just random stocks.
Stocks, okay. Yeah, the S&P 500 mostly, and dividend stocks, paying me like $2,000 a month.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Which is nice.
Yeah,
it's something.
Dope.
It'll continue going. Yeah.
It's easy.
It's easy and it's safe for the most part.
So I hate it.
I think. So you're like,
not risky enough for me.
Not for me, man. I get it. I don't know.
Hilarious.
I think it's good to be somewhat safe.
I want to make a quick point too that I forgot to earlier. We were talking about gold and precious jewels and emeralds and all that good stuff.
Were we? We were talking about jewels?
Precious jewels.
Were we?
Yeah, we're talking about gemstones and like monetary systems with gold. Oh,
okay. I thought I was like, when you talk about Rolexes, what?
I mean, I need to get a Rolex. But anyways, okay. So this is my point. You know how people say Bitcoin is a digital gold?
Yeah,
it's better than gold.
It is.
You know why?
Well, it has to be 10 times better for it to do as good as it's doing and to overtake gold. Yeah.
Okay, so I forgot the guy's name. It sucks. I forgot his name. But I watched this guy. He was on CNN. He was like a young kid like us.
Okay, I was going to say Peter Schiff. Never mind.
No, it's just I completely forgot his name. He's got a hoodie on, bro. Okay. And he's got like fluffy hair like me.
Okay.
So anyways, they were talking about like what if Bitcoin does this or does that, and what if somebody else makes
Jack
Bitcoin?
Mahler?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, like one of the older guys was like, what if somebody cooks up another Bitcoin?
Right.
And he's like, they tried that Bitcoin Cash, and guess what? It didn't work. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's funny because he's like explaining exactly what we know to people that have no clue, right?
Yeah.
And these people are like finance people and they don't know anything. Anyway, so in one of his points, it was supply finds the path of most demand, right? Which means what? You can sit here and say there's only so much gold on this earth, and once it's all mined, literally, it's gone, right? Now, that's not true. Because one, you could always find more gold. Two, if there is, let's say for just the sake of the conversation, there's no more gold to be mined. You can't dig up gold anymore, right? What are people going to start doing? If the gold's in demand, everybody wants gold. They're going to start taking their necklaces and their chains and their utensil, whatever they have in gold, and melting it and selling it, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, there's a bunch of supply because everyone just went and grabbed their gold because everybody's buying it for so much. You can't do that with Bitcoin. Right. There's literally only 21 million Bitcoins ever.
Did you also know that we can manufacture gold? We can like grow it in a lab.
I know about lab diamonds.
Yeah, but we can do that with gold too.
I didn't know that. But it's probably not Is there a way to tell the difference?
It's not really. It's much more expensive. Also, I believe it's very radioactive, but it's much more expensive to produce than it is like the actual value that's created. So that's why we haven't like mass-produced gold.
Right.
That's because it costs insane amounts of money. But it is possible, which
so
is kind of interesting.
So fake gold costs more than real gold?
Not fake gold. It's not fake. It's real gold that we make, and it's indistinguishable.
Lab-made gold is
is
more
a
expensive
thing.
than regular gold, or is it the
to
same
make?
Price? Oh, doesn't that raise the price of it?
No.
Oh.
No, because the demand is the same, right?
Right.
But to make, it's much more expensive. But it's interesting that, to your point, that, Bitcoin isn't.
And you can't do that with Bitcoin.
No, and it's also going to be cut in half supply production. Which Michael Saylor actually brought up a good point. He said that Bitcoin supply. He brought up a date too. It's like November 2034 or 35, something
30,
like that.
No. I know. I watched that exact same clip.
Yeah.
He said we got 10 years.
Yes.
He said
Before
2034.
Bitcoin's flow, as far as like stock to flow, it goes to infinity.
Yeah.
Because that's it. Like we can't.
And he said it started. You notice he said it started January 2024.
Yes.
Because of the ETF.
Yeah.
Right. So from January 2024 to it's either January or April 2034 is where it cuts off, and from there on, it's like 1% or 2% left that gets mined for the next 100 years or something, right?
Yep. And then the Bitcoin flow goes to infinity, which is insane. I mean, I don't know.
I should buy some Bitcoin.
It's so crazy, which is another interesting point. How come you don't own any Bitcoin?
I don't own any Bitcoin because I'm trying to make as much gains as possible through altcoins. And I'm not going to do that through Bitcoin, right? So this is my plan. Instead of me putting all my money right now into Bitcoin, right, and maybe 2xing the bull run.
But isn't that short-term thinking? If you know it's going to go to $1 million.
But okay, so here's my point with that.
Yeah.
Make as much as I could possibly make with altcoins, meme coins, shit coins, whatever you want to call them, right? In this bull cycle, because now I know, like I've lived through an entire cycle. I know the motions. I get it, right? And I'm the type of person that I can only learn that way, bro. I only learn viscerally. Like I learn through like experiencing it with my own eyes, right? Yes. That's just how I learn. But my point, bull cycle, make as much as I could possibly make in a bull cycle. Cash out near the top. I could be off by a couple months or so or whatever. Then I redistribute all of that money into 4 ways. 1/4 of it I put in USDT, stable coins. The other 1/4 I put into USDC, stable coins. The other 1/4 I put into Bitcoin, and the other 1/4 I put into Ethereum.
Yeah.
So that's diversifying my portfolio in a sense.
It's not, but
it's not. Okay. Or I could just put everything in stable coins and wait for the bear and then dump it all into Bitcoin.
Right.
$5 million in Bitcoin on a bear market, because if you look at the next bear cycle, right, this last one, Bitcoin dropped down to 15. I think that was the rock bottom, right? $15,000 per Bitcoin. It's funny because we were out when that happened.
Yeah.
And everyone and like, what's going on? We were at the little crawfish juicy thing.
What do you think?
Bitcoin dropped to 15,000.
What do you think Bitcoin will be at the lowest point in this cycle, or after this?
I
cycle?
think 25,000.
25.
Yeah.
Okay.
25,000, maybe 30,000. I feel like it's between 25 to 30,000.
Like it'll go to maybe 150, maybe 300, and then drop all the way to 30.
I don't think it goes over 250. To me is like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like I don't think it's gonna go past 250.
Okay.
It could hit 150. My range is between 150 to 200K.
Okay.
And then I feel like on the bear it'll drop down to maybe 30K.
Okay.
25, 30K. And that's what I'm saying. Like for me to have right now, so it just came from 30,000, right? A few months ago, right? 20 to 30,000 a few months ago. It was in the 30s, right? If I had put everything I had into Bitcoin, I wouldn't even have 2x yet. No, maybe I would have by now, but that's besides the point.
Right.
What I'm saying is I can make a lot more money in altcoins right now. And then what you do is you park it in Bitcoin. Like essentially I want to have all my money in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'd probably split it in half. But I don't have as much money right now for that to be a big deal. You know what I mean? Or I don't have as much money right now to have as much Bitcoin as I would like. So gotcha. I'm trying to not play the markets, but I'm trying to see, okay, the cycle does this, the bull run is this, the bear market, it's going to happen again. I get it. It's a 4-year cycle. Like, even if I don't get everything right, I'm still going to come out with way more Bitcoin and Ethereum if I do it this way that I'm planning on doing it, versus just being like, oh, I don't know, just put it all in Bitcoin right now, and you know what I mean, and whatever, like not get a 9 to 5, put it all in Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like,
it's funny. I want to put this interview on the podcast, which we will. And a lot of our audience, they like to watch like slot channels and gambling. So this is like so perfect. This is right in line for them.
Really?
Yes, because this is, to me, gambling. Like, I mean, any investing is a form of gambling on a spectrum, but like, especially with this, like, to me, I actually bought Bitcoin at the top. Like, I bought at least 100 grand at 64K.
Did you?
I did. Because I think long term, it'll be fine.
Michael Saylor says he buys every Bitcoin top.
I agree with him.
He doesn't care.
I agree with him.
He buys it all the way up, all the way down.
Exactly.
He's just always buying it.
I agree. I do the same thing. Because I think in the long term, that's where you want to be.
He's going to be the most powerful man in the world. I hope you understand that. He's going to have more money than the ETFs. Like, bro.
I doubt it. No, but.
All right, maybe not the ETFs, but like 3 billion. I don't know how much does he have. He's got like
billions. Yeah,
billions and billions and billions of Bitcoin.
No.
Dollars worth of Bitcoin.
Yes. But I don't know. I don't think I could bring myself to like do what you're doing as far as like following these little cycles and trying to play the alts. Like, it's too much stress for me.
No, I get that. But yeah. I mean, like, you remember, I was stressed out about little meme coins, but that's back when it was like all of my net worth is Dogecoin.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of money to play with, and I'm over here trying to like.
But I guess like, having like had money and then seeing you have it and then not have it,
it sucks.
It's like seeing you go from where you're at right now, 2 million. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do? What do you want to do with 10 million that you can't already do with 2?
Having way more Bitcoin. Having more Ethereum, being able. Here's the thing.
But then it doesn't stop. Like, if the goal is having more, there will never be a time where you're like, that's enough.
No, I get that, but I feel like what I'm trying to do is either get a jump start or get a head start or because I'm not going to do this again.
But you're so far ahead now.
Right. But I'm saying with playing the cycles and understanding the cycles, that is super stressful. Right.
Right.
So I feel like, okay, the first cycle that I lived through a few years ago, right, I had to learn everything by walking through the fire and getting hurt and falling and this and that, right? So now I'm like, okay, I'm going into this cycle with knowledge of what I remember from last cycle. So for example, this cycle, if there's an event like Saturday Night Live or like something like that, which everyone's looking forward to and it's blowing up all over Twitter and everybody's waiting for it to happen, I would clearly sell the day before or 2 days before. Like, if you look at the Dogecoin chart, you guys said the exact advice that I should have taken, which was, I think Graham said sell it the day before. You said sell it the day of.
Yeah.
Either way, you guys said sell it.
And it was right before Elon came on the interview.
Exactly. So it's like that, in retrospect, was the perfect time to sell.
As soon as Elon came on, like words and sounds came out of his mouth, the price just went.
Right. I remember that. So it's like, if anything along those lines happen again, it doesn't have to be Saturday Night Live. It could be Mission to the Moon. It could be anything, like something huge that everyone's waiting for, and you see the price of Dogecoin continue to grow, then it's like, okay, this makes sense. Buy the rumor, sell the news. That's exactly what this situation calls for, right? And I would act accordingly. So that's one thing. That's a huge thing that I learned, but there was also lots of other things that I learned living through the cycle. So I learned the first cycle. This cycle I'm executing and hopefully coming out on top with as much as I could possibly make from it. The third cycle, I'm chilling, because the third cycle, everything that I've made in this cycle is in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I don't have to worry about because I know even that's gonna grow, right? So it's not like that 10. Let's say okay. So you want to know my goal? My goal used to be 10 million. Now it's 30 million, by the way. I just update Andre. It's 30 million. But let's say I make 30 million this cycle.
30 million is the goal?
That's my goal.
Dude, you're going to be in these cycles for the next...
No. But it doesn't have to get to 30. That's my goal, right? So it could get to 20. It could get to 10. I'm trying to reach the 30, right? So whatever I reach this cycle is going to be what it is.
Oh, I see.
At the end of the cycle, I'm going to take all that money and I'm going to split it up between Bitcoin and Ethereum in the bear market. I might put it in stables, whatever have you, so so that I can accumulate as much Bitcoin and Ethereum as possible based on what I made this cycle, right? So then the third cycle, I'm not even going to look at the markets because everything's going to be in Bitcoin and Ethereum on the bear. Yeah. And then I want to just live with that for the rest of my life.
Are you worried that this cycle will be, quote, different this time? Now that there's
people
more
are saying it's going to be a super cycle, but they say that every time.
Right. Well, what if it is? And what if it's different this time? What if what if something goes crazy, like Dogecoin gets up to $2 or something ridiculous, but you sold at like 50 cents or whatever?
I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't sell it.
Okay,
I would
let's
sell
say
at
you sold
least
at $1, but you saw it at 2
and it goes
now,
to 2,
and it goes to 3.
Bro, you know how much shit everybody would give me if like
how
I
would
sold
you
it at
feel
$1
inside that? Would you like chase that?
Maybe I should sell half of it at $1 just in case. Moonbag it.
I'm trying here. I'm trying. I can't.
But I'm saying no. I feel like I would fulfill the prophecy that I've made for myself. I would sell it all at $1, and then if it goes to 2, it goes to 2, bro. I got 5 million.
Yeah, this is Dune 3 over here.
You know what it is? But you know what it is? You know what it is?
Yeah.
I just want to do better than I did last cycle. And last cycle at the top, I was at 3 million. So if this cycle I walk away with 5, okay, I waited 2 years, but I also made an extra 2 million.
Okay. So this time you're saying you will actually sell.
Yeah.
When it hits $1.
Yeah.
If it hits $1.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, and it goes to like 75 cents and then dumps again to 10 cents, but Bitcoin takes off.
That doesn't make sense though.
Okay.
I just don't see that happening.
That's such a crazy like risk taking. Like I don't have in me.
I mean, no, you do though. You do though. We've had some fun with Omi and Vivi.
We do. But like
you took some risks.
Relative though to like what we have.
That's true. That was a portion of your portfolio.
Yeah, that was not the same.
Right. No, I get it. But here's the thing. Even you getting involved with like not skeptical. What's the word?
Like micro projects.
Yes.
Risky projects.
Yes. Even a little bit,
yeah,
you can kind of get an understanding of where my head is at. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, I get it. It's just I have that times 10. You know what I mean? In my head. But yeah, I feel like it does come from circumstances too. Like I feel like I took those risks because I had absolutely nothing, and I was like pinned up against the wall, and like this, like I need to make a huge move to get out of here. You know what I mean? Now I'm more comfortable. Now I have more going for me. Now I have other projects that I work with that like are doing well, and I don't have to take as crazy of a risk.
Really? I have a different theory. My theory is that you're a perpetual risk taker because in reality you don't have much. In theory, you have a lot. But I think it's easier to be in the gambler mindset when you only have what you have on paper. Right. But when it's realized and it's held in like maybe hard assets or whatever, things you can see and things you can feel, you become less inclined to gamble because you're like, I don't want to lose what I already live. But right now, what you're living through is digits on a computer screen. Right. And you're seeing it go up and down. And you're desensitized at this point. So you're like, what difference does it make? My life is what it is. I'm going to continue doubling down until I feel like I can extract it and make it real. And so it'll perpetually not be real until it is.
Right.
And in the meantime, I think you'll be continually taking these
risks.
But
I'm gonna call you when Dogecoin hits $1 and I sell. And
I'm not saying it won't.
5 million.
I'm not saying it won't. I'm just trying to be sensible.
I get it. I mean, there's also something else to it. I feel like I don't got wife, I don't got kids, I don't have like all these responsibilities. It's literally me. So it's like if I make a dumb decision, then I can eat ramen for the next few months. You know what I mean? Like I don't got kids starving if I make a bad decision.
That's fair.
They're not getting food on the table. Fair, you know what I mean? So I am able to take more risks.
Right. That's fair.
I guess.
If someone in your shoes was asking you for advice, like what would you tell them?
And they had a wife and kids and dogs and
no, like the average person.
Okay, so basically, I feel like my biggest point and what everybody should take away from my whole situation and my entire story is as simple of a concept as it is the truest concept ever, is living below your means. Because the only way I was even able to make the crazy move of putting all of my life savings in a Dogecoin, how I even got to the point of accumulating that much money to even make that move with, was living below the means that I had. And you saw the means that I was living in. I was bare bones. I was rent, gas, food, invest everything else, and that's what I did. And I was able to save up that much money in 3 years, something that a lot of people can't do because they just don't know how to budget correctly. They don't know how to manage their money, and they might be spending things what they don't need. You know what I mean? Like just poor money management is what it comes down to it. So it's honestly, I feel like everybody could reach $1 million in their lifetime if they work hard, budget their money correctly, and invest everything that they can.
Yeah, because you don't have a really high overhead, right?
Like
your monthly
that's what I'm
expenses,
saying.
like your rent is.
Well, right now,
yeah,
$2,000 for the house.
$2,000, yeah,
which is actually really good in comparison to anything in LA.
Yeah,
in LA, the studio I was in,
yeah,
which was 12 by 12 feet, by the way, 144 square feet, I was paying $1,200 a month.
And your car is paid off.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much good to go, other than like food and just
other
utilities.
Than food, helping out family, utilities, stuff like that, bills.
That's cool.
Insurance, phone.
Well, it's been interesting, man.
Yeah, but here's the difference, though. Like I know you were saying that you were worried, like, about making sure all my needs are met when it comes to making money and paying off everything I have to pay for. But in the crypto space, I've actually dove in, like in DeFi and Web3. Like I've met a lot of people in crypto Twitter. I've been working with projects. You know what I mean? Like right now I'm working with a project called Facet, where they're trying to make it so you can buy and sell anything with Ethereum without having to pay those high gas fees that we're all worried about. They're creating a sniper bot to help out with that on Telegram. So it's like I have these projects that I do work with, and the same way that somebody could say, well, what if you get fired tomorrow from any job in the real world? That could happen to me too, and I'd have to figure it out and find something else, right? So it's like I've always been a fighter. I've always figured it out one way or the other, made sacrifices all around, and I feel like even if everything goes the way today, I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your next thing?
I'm just working with these projects. There's meme coins now that I'm buying, and I'm super excited about.
We'll skip that part.
No, yeah, we can skip that part. But outside of that,
I'm still gambling.
Trying, still at it. I'm gonna hit it big one day. One day I'll hit it big. Jackpot. I'm in Vegas,
Oh, dude.
Hopefully those vibes rub off. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Just I still have to buy a house, right?
Yep.
So I got to figure that out.
When Dogecoin hits $1.
Yeah, Dogecoin hits $1. It takes them out. Helping out family, stuff like that. Trying to spend more time with family, bro. I feel like I feel like the older you grow, the more family becomes more important to you, right? And like those moments that you used to shrug off and be like, oh,
that's why I'm trying to save you right now, because I'm like, you think you need these numbers, but you so don't.
It's all in my head. I know. Isn't that crazy? Do you have a number in your head where you're like, when I reach this, I'll feel successful?
I'm at it right now. I think what I'm afraid of letting go isn't a number. It's more of like the momentum of like people's attention and people's. Or actually my passion for like creating and stuff. And like that's what.
Here's a question. If you were to quit YouTube tomorrow,
yeah,
would you be okay financially for the rest of your life?
I think so, yeah. I couldn't live like at the means I do now. Like I'm spending obviously more than I would. I'd be a little more conservative, but I don't think I'd see a big change in lifestyle.
Okay. I was going to mention too, because I feel like you've been living a lot of moments and experiences recently that I've seen within the last year, stuff that I would love to do, and I feel like I'm not there yet, but like traveling, going to different countries, making memories, having experiences, things that those are the things that we value, that we should value,
right? And
those are the things that you can't replace.
And with every time I experience them, I remind myself that like that's like where you get the most joy from. And it's funny because as interesting it is like that I'm telling you, like I'm trying to save you, in many ways I'm also talking to myself.
Because you've experienced this in a different way.
In ways that I'm experiencing now. But instead of like high risk investing, it's more of like working too much. And it's like, for what? Like we keep delaying the things we know both of us can enjoy right now.
Right.
And so like, why do you then keep going?
We need to talk to Graham about this too. We need to have an intervention of all three of us.
Yes, that's true.
I'm serious, because this is the like, bro, you going to Japan?
Yeah, that was so
is incredible
cool.
for me to like live it through you, watching the pictures and your stories and everything. And it's like, I want to do that. You know what I mean? And technically I can't. Well, I can't, but
right.
You
can. You can.
I can, but I can't. But those are the kinds of experiences I want to have too. Like making a katana.
But even if you could right now and sell everything and enjoy it, you still wouldn't.
I still wouldn't.
Isn't that a pickle?
What a pickle.
Please help us.
Help us, please. Write in the comment section what I should do.
We're all just...
I'll do whatever you guys say. I have no
addicts
idea.
Of gambling, addicts of work. Just, it doesn't end, man.
It never ends. It's a crazy, vicious cycle.
Which I guess in some ways it's like, then you get into like the philosophy of like happiness and
life,
and you're like,
values.
Maybe we were never meant to be happy. We're always going to be like looking for problems to solve.
We're just so hard on ourselves, and I feel like it's because we've seen our parents struggle so much that we don't want that for ourselves, and we also don't want them to go through that anymore.
Right.
So it's like I'm doing it for me, but I'm also doing it for you guys.
Yeah.
That's why we push ourselves so hard.
In so many ways, for my parents, I agree. Like I've given them so much money and like paid off. I've probably spent like, I want to say like $400,000 or $500,000 on them in these last 3 years.
Just with things they need and
just the house, car, like everything. Yeah. Just to set them up and hopefully like have them not worry about stuff.
Right, man.
And in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm their retirement plan, which is kind of stressful.
You become their dad.
Yeah, which is stressful.
The roles reverse.
It is. It's terrifying too, because it's like, well, if I stop, like, well, if they like something happens, can I help them? Like right now, I can. But
I mean, if I was you, I mean, I'm sure you thought about this, but I would set up some passive income thing for them, where like you give them the assets or whatever it is, and they live off the passive income.
Problem is, I don't think I'm that wealthy where I'm just like, here, inherit this asset that you can live off for the rest of your life. Not
but
there yet.
I feel like you're in a position to take care of you, your family, and your parents.
Right now I am.
That's all I ever wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it too. Maybe that's what it is. But so does that mean you do have a number for you?
I do.
What's your number?
It was 10 million. Now it's 30 million.
That's right. 30 million. All right.
30 million.
To the moon.
And I'm going to quit.
I promise I'm going to quit.
To the moon.
Wink, wink.
Right.
Oh, dude, I could see us like working and doing stuff for the next,
and then being old as shit next day, and then we're like,
remember when we did this podcast in 2024 and we were young,
and then we're like 55, like
now we're 50s.
Like, bro, I wish I went to Japan.
I never got to go.
20 years later, like, bro, you should have gone. What was you doing?
You're like, this 7th cycle, I promise this will be the one.
13 cycles of charm, guys. I swear.
It cannot pump again. Like,
right. No, it's true. It's true, man. Who knows?
I don't know if anyone watching this learned anything. I don't know what I learned.
Me neither.
Well,
I don't know.
I appreciate you anyway.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, everyone's rooting for you.
Always a pleasure.
Cool, man. Thank you.